Hello and welcome back to the Bodcast. It is episode 88 and I'm joined by my lovely wife, Carrie. I don't know why there was a pause there.
Yeah.
I was expecting you to say hello, but you didn't, so I figured I might as well
I thought you were going to say something
your
about the fact that I'm wrapped in a blanket or looking like an old lady. But yes, I'm here. And I am your lovely wife, just to clarify.
And today we thought we'd talk about, how do we put this? Unconscious sexism within LUGs?
Yeah, that's what I think you thought you'd talk about.
Yeah.
And I thought I'd just come along for the ride.
Okay. So I guess, maybe not unconscious is the word. So I guess it's indirect sexism.
What, you reckon they consciously know they don't?
No.
Okay.
So indirect is where you're not saying, you're not saying women aren't allowed to do something, but what you're doing would disproportionately affect women.
Yeah, it makes it harder for them to...
So, for example, I think it was the weather company got sued over this because they allowed flexible working, but required everyone to be in for a 9 o'clock meeting.
Right.
And this is seen as though, for the majority of families, it is the woman who does the school run. And so therefore, saying you've got flexible working, but someone needs to be in at 9 o'clock, disproportionately affects women who want to do the school run, whereas, men who want to go early on a Friday to go and play a round of golf, it works perfectly well for them.
Wow, that's a massive stereotype.
It is, isn't it?
You're just throwing around there.
Okay, sorry, it's the weather company. So they leave early on a Friday to go look at cloud. I don't know. But so that's an example of indirect sexual discrimination. The rule was never thought of as we want to make it harder for women. It doesn't apply to all women. It's just, it applies to people who need to do the school run, and the majority of people who do the school run are women.
Yeah.
And so I got into thinking about this because of lug bulk. So, for those people who don't know, lug bulk is a way that if you're in a recognised lug, they can take part in lug bulk, and you can buy Lego in large quantities. Yeah. So, like, you buy 50 burps or something.
Yeah, or 100 tiles, or 250
so
tiles, like big quantities.
Big quantities. That's of the individual parts, kind of thing.
Bricks and pieces, but bulky.
Yeah. And so the recognised lug we're in is Brickish.
Yep.
Which is a very large lug.
Yes, it is.
Covers, the whole of the UK, plus it has members outside of the UK.
Yeah, which I find a little bit weird, but I guess it's all-inclusive.
Yeah. The way that they did it is there were a number of rounds in order to sort out what parts were going to be available, because each lug can only select 85 parts.
Something like that.
And so they had a voting system and stuff, and it was all done under quite tight deadlines.
Yeah. So, like, the first round, we had, like, a couple of weeks. Then the second round of it, it was like, you've got literally 1 week. And then the third time, it wasn't even a week. I mean, it was almost a week, but it was from Saturday till Friday midday, I think it was.
So we missed the deadline.
We did.
Due to the fact that we had sweet corn, one of our chickens, was sick. So we took her to the vet on the Thursday and then had to take her back on the Friday after keeping her in the house overnight and giving her medicine.
And also the fact that we didn't think we were going to be bringing her back from the vet on Friday. So
yes,
we had to do like a whole rigmarole with saying goodbye to the chicken just in case she didn't come back with our kids. And it was kind of emotional and a bit stressful.
Yeah. And so as a result, we missed the deadline. Now, unfortunately, we managed to talk to the guy who sent an email. At first, he thought that he couldn't add us in afterwards.
Yeah, logistically.
So it turned out that it was meant to end at midday. It actually ended at 1. It then got reopened for a little bit.
Yeah, about 4-ish.
So to allow a couple of people who had missed the deadline to get in, and then about 4-ish it closed. And he said at that point there was no way to do it. We then got an email saying that he'd found a way to do it and our order had been added in.
Yeah, so we immediately paid so we didn't miss that deadline, because there was another deadline of having to pay some money.
And so, anyway, the reason why I started thinking about the indirect sexual discrimination is that women are much more likely to have to deal with family emergencies. It's been shown that, caring for relatives normally comes down to women.
Well, it was the
sickness with children.
whole thing during the pandemic is that the majority of women had to leave their jobs to look after the kids. Like,
And
they were way more effective.
Yeah, there's kind of two reasons for that. One is the stereotype that women are more caring, and so therefore, one, it's more expected of them to do it, but also, if going back into the job market, it's more acceptable that a woman has taken time off to look after family or something. Second one is that traditionally women earn less than men, and so their job is the one that is given up if one of them has to give up a job. So I was just thinking that therefore women are much more likely to have a crisis come up where they're going to miss time, and so tight deadlines, all it has to do is coincide with some kind of family emergency, and it completely
also,
scuppers everything.
Like the mental workload of a stay-at-home mother or a mother, in fact, not even like there's a mental load that is massive. Adding a lug bulk onto that is already kind of hard.
Yeah,
so.
But LUGs, I mean, LUGs haven't actually, recognised LUGs haven't been going on that long, realistically. I can't remember when they started.
Didn't British just celebrate something? Was it 40 years?
But I don't think that was as a recognised LUG?
Oh, I think
maybe.
I could have made that 40 up, to be fair.
Yeah.
Carrie from the edit here just popping in to say it was 20 years that they celebrated, not 40.
But so the kind of stereotype is that it is generally run by middle-aged, mainly grumpy men. That's kind of the view that you have. People who are very introverted. They focus on the hobby
I'm stuck on the grumpy bit. Like, they're not all grumpy.
They're not all grumpy. Most middle-aged men are grumpy.
Have you hit that yet? Are you grumpy already?
I've been grumpy for years.
Okay, right. Grumpy and proud. Do you want a t-shirt that says that?
Yeah. And so, I'm not saying that they're intentionally making it hard for people, for, women, or just for young kind of people starting a family who are more likely to have turbulent times. They're not intentionally making it hard for them. Obviously, with such a large number of people, there's a lot of process going into this getting logbook. So I can understand them wanting to do it early so that they can then do the whole, once you put your order in, they then need to get money.
Well, they have to collate it. They have to,
Yeah. And I'm guessing, yes, they've set a deadline for when you need to give money, but actually what they will do is if you miss that deadline, that's when they'll start hounding you for the money, because it will be easier to get everyone to pay than it will be to pull orders back out.
No, they said if you don't pay, then they take your order out. That was the thing, because it doesn't show commitment to actually buy it. So I mean, there were still people that hadn't paid as of the deadline. I don't know what they did with those. Yeah. Because we weren't one of those, because I made sure literally the day that they said, yes, you can join in, I'm like, I'm just going to pay this right this second. Because, I mean, that was the thing. Paying it is you do it or you don't. Yeah. Whereas deciding what pieces you want, that's more of a decision. Yes. So that's why we struggled with that one, because we talked about it a lot. We sort of narrowed it down, and then we just hadn't really confirmed that's what we wanted.
I mean, also coming up with a list of pieces that you want. So we had there's a spending limit on there, so you can only go up to a certain amount. Trying to do it between the two of you is actually quite difficult. So if you go back to a stereotype of it's a middle-aged man, he enjoys the hobby on his own.
Yeah, he makes.
It's not a couples thing. It's a bit easier to make that decision, and so it's a bit quicker.
When we went to Swindon, we went to the British event afterwards, like the social part, and there were definitely couples already there. Yes. So we're not extraordinary, but we are definitely we're outside the norms. Yes. And it's frustrating. Yeah. Maybe we're just rubbish at communicating. That was the issue. Maybe it's all our fault.
No, I think it's it's a difficult thing to come up with a list of Lego bricks that you want.
And also, this is the only time we talk during the week. So yeah, that's true. We couldn't do it on here busy, because you're not allowed to talk about the prices. Yeah. So
So I was trying to work out whether more should be done. I was also thinking about the fact that although there's a huge amount of work to try and get more girls into STEM subjects at school, you've still got that women by and large are more likely to not understand technology. So just things like going through the order process.
You're not saying that they're unable to, but they've not gone into
They're more likely to have not had the education for it.
I just wanted to clarify. So, you're not saying women are too stupid to understand technology. Yeah.
When it all comes to, ours was fairly simple. It was, it was a spreadsheet with a few sheets on it that you had to go through in order to find stuff. And
then you just click some buttons on a website.
Yeah. So it wasn't that taxing, but
It was not.
For someone who's never looked at a spreadsheet because they've not covered it in their education. As I say, and a woman is more likely to be in that situation because the stereotype that technology was for boys was definitely prevalent when we were kids.
Yeah, well, I mean, you have that stereotype growing up, and then you can't help but perpetualise it sometimes because you're so used to it. So, like, I was playing with the girls earlier. They opened a pasta shop, and I was putting on different costumes and pretending to be like customers. And I put on like a face mask because I was running out of costumes. I'd used all the hats and scarves. Put a face mask on, and I'm like, oh, I'm a doctor. But suddenly I was a male doctor, even though like that's not necessary.
Yeah.
But I put on my best man voice, and I don't know. I was like, why did I do that? Why was I not just a female doctor? But like that's what you just it straight away comes out. It's weird.
Yeah.
It's annoying.
So I was thinking, should Lego do more to help with this? Should they be making tools for lug bulk that make it easier for lugs to work out which pieces to get, for getting people to actually put the order in, all that side of thing, to make sure that it is accessible to everyone, and also maybe to make sure that the time frame isn't a mad panic.
So I mean, talking to other people as well, they say that their lugs don't do it the same. They're way. So you
are
kind
in a
of
very large lug.
We are in a very large lug, but you kind of want some sort of consistency between the lugs, and so having tools that everyone does it this way makes sense. But I guess they've got that tool for the ambassador to use, the person who puts in the order. They all use the same ordering system, but they are all adding their own sort of layers on top of that.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the issue. Did Lego actually want you to be ordering via lug bulk? Are they trying to encourage it, or are they trying to...
It's complicated, isn't it? So we've talked about this with a couple of people who are more experienced in it, and lug bulk is meant to be for promoting Lego. So you're using it for buying parts to use in displays at shows or content creation to show Instagram pictures.
So it's for Lego, not for advertising lugs. You don't think they're trying to advertise the...
No, it's meant to be one of the things that allows lugs to spread the joy of Lego, whatever their mission is.
The joy of Lego.
Yeah.
Lego. It's a wonderful thing.
Because that's where this year it seems most lugs have spent quite a lot of their allocated 85 slots
on minifigures
and minifig accessories, and there's a lot of questions about how's that working. Are people going to just keep showing up to brick shows with huge armies, and everyone's going to have lots of Lion Knights and lots of Black Falcons from last year, and lots of spacemen?
You can make an army, but if they're all the same army, then it's not easy to do a battle against them. So bit of a rubbish army.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see if Lego do anything to try and combat that, or try and enforce the message that it should be more about shows or creating stuff that you share publicly. Even if it's just these are the builds and then your lug website, because I think lugs have to have a public website. And so, these are the builds that team members have done, kind of. You don't have to actually take it to a show, but you've got to show that you're using it in a public fashion. So what Lego don't want is lots of people using lug bulk to buy parts that don't engage the public at all. Yeah,
they're trying to engage us to engage everyone, because that's kind of free marketing ish.
But so then, following on from my thoughts on this, I then started to think about Bricktastic. So,
which is a Lego show that we are displaying at in 2 weeks' time ish.
Now, we applied for it and we'd want to show. Now, we did Swindon, and how Swindon worked is that it's a 2-day show, but you can turn up on the Friday and do your setup, or you can get up stupidly early, travel on the Saturday and do your setup. Or, you could travel overnight, stay and wake up early near to the show. Do it. And so that
chose stupidly early.
We chose stupidly early. It worked really well for us, apart from the fact that we were up very early.
Yeah, and the fact that nothing broke, so we were then just milling about, so we didn't need to get up stupidly early, but I think it was best, especially with the magic roundabout.
Yeah,
like it was much easier to get there.
So Bricktastic, we were hoping would be the same thing.
No, we weren't even hoping. We just assumed that's how it works. Yes. We just assumed if it's a 2-day or any show, you can either be prepared, go the night before, or you can rock up first thing in the morning.
Yeah,
like those are the options.
Yes,
and it's your choice. That's what we assumed.
Yes. That's not what's happening at Bricktastic. Bricktastic setup has to be done by 9 p.m. on the Friday.
And I can kind of see why, because it's a very large show.
Yeah.
And they want to know that... And it starts at 9 a.m. the next morning, so it's an early starting show.
Yeah.
They want to know it's ready to go.
Yes. I think there's also the problem that there's no access by car in the morning for...
But I think that's by choice, that they don't want you to be there. That's another reason to get there on the Friday. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm sure they could arrange it. Like, it sounds like in the past that has been an option.
Yeah.
And this is the thing. They've obviously changed it this year, I think.
And so this means that for us, the original plan was that we would pick up the girls from school, drive up to Birmingham, leave them with my parents, then head up to Manchester, crash overnight in the hotel, and then set up early Saturday morning.
Yeah, super early Saturday morning, get it all sorted.
But because of this change, we can't do that.
No, because as soon as we've left, like, if we are picking up the kids from school, we're not making it to Manchester in time.
Yeah.
Because, we live down south.
Yeah. So, and again, the majority of the time, it is women who are doing the school run. So this rule that you have to be there by that time affects women more than it would affect men.
And it also, the fact that we're a couple as well, we've been hit, because you can imagine there'll be some people displaying who have left their wife and children, or their partner and children, at home for the weekend. And this is their thing. They've taken the Friday off, they're heading up. They'll see the family Sunday evening.
Yeah.
And so, because we're both doing it as well, that's negatively impacting us.
So again, I'm just wondering whether Lego needs to do something to say that if a show is put on by LUGs, you need to make sure that it is accessible to people. You could argue that this is fine because it's just discriminating against people in the south. Because if you live up in the north, then doing the school run and then heading over afterwards, you still have plenty of time.
We kind of got everything against us, haven't we? And people sort of say, "Oh, just take your kids out of school for the afternoon," but
that's not an option.
No, exactly. That's not. I mean, I guess it's an option for some people. It's not an option that we will take.
No,
we're quite particular about that.
Yeah.
And I don't know. How do you justify that? Oh, I wanted to go and show some Lego off. Yeah. It's like, it doesn't even seem educational for the kids.
Yeah. And obviously it's much harder than, when we were kids, if your parents needed to go off and do something, then someone else could pick you up. You'd have 4 or 5 people in the back seat with 2 seatbelts between them, and that was perfectly fine.
It was never perfectly fine, but it was
acceptable.
A done thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, there was a point where there was no seatbelts in cars.
Yeah.
I remember my granddad driving us in his car, and it was petrifying.
Yeah. Well, as a kid, we went out to buy a new TV. The TV didn't fit in the boot, so it went in the back seat, and I went in the boot.
I remember going in the boot as a child as well. Yeah. And it was quite cool. You'd be like, look, I can see all these people, because, I don't know, it was fun. But you would never do it these days.
No. But so both of our girls need to be in car seats.
Yeah.
So they can't just come home with someone else.
No.
Because chances are they don't have space in the car for an extra 2 car seats. They're already picking up at least one kid themselves. So the logistics of it becomes so much harder now.
And that's always a fun thing when you talk to parents of older kids. They just don't really get it because they've not had to do all of those things.
Yeah.
Parenting was so much easier, but that's another story.
Yes.
I'm sure it had different hardships.
And then there was the other slightly weird thing about Bricktastic is that when you book, you have an option of either getting a single room.
So you have to pay extra because you're just getting the one room.
Yeah. Or a twin room. And then you could say who you wanted to share with, or you could just say you didn't care who you shared with.
Both of those were options.
There was no option for a double room with someone.
Yeah, and I'm still a little nervous that I'm going to turn up and they're going to make me sleep with someone other than you. And I know you're hoping for it because,
you snore.
You snore too. But
that doesn't bother me.
I don't know, I feel like it would be a little bit weird.
It would.
And that was another thing. Even if we were to get there, and not be able to set up, but we could do it in the morning, you have to get your hotel stuff done before 9 p.m. So then where do you sleep?
Yeah.
I get why they've done it, but I don't think they're really aware of the stress that it's caused us.
So, and again, I think that's the thing. This isn't something that the organisers might have thought about, you know. And this is why I'm saying, big corporations need to think about this kind of stuff. So they will have teams who work this out. They have HR departments that make sure that all of the things they do are perfectly inclusive and balanced. So Lego should be providing that help to the lugs.
Yeah.
You know, they should be giving advice. They should be giving them tools, all the things needed to make sure that the shows are as inclusive as possible.
Yeah. I think it's just, you do something a certain way and you just keep doing it a certain way. And unless someone sort of points out, actually, that was massively inconvenient to me. Is there anything we could do? I mean, we could have reached out to them and sort of said, like, this really doesn't work for us. But at the same time, it didn't seem like it was a thing that could be changed. And I felt like it was our naivety for not seeing it coming when we signed up. I was like, we should have asked, or we should have known.
They should have explained.
Yeah.
As we said, this seems to be a new thing for this year, so there should have been a post saying,
this is the
these
thing.
are the rules, this is how it's going to work before you sign up for it.
How do you get into this group of people who regularly show at places and know the lay of the land? You've got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
And there was no, this is what this is the process, this is what happens. You sign up and you hope for the best.
Yeah.
And like, we really want to do this. And I was like, I just don't see how we can do it without having a detrimental effect on our children, because also the show doesn't finish till 6 p.m. on a Sunday, which seems really late on a Sunday.
It does.
It's a very big show. I'm sure it's going to be a great time, and I'm really looking forward to it. And certainly, if I was a member of the public, I'd be super excited about going. But I'm a little anxious as a first-time shower. I think it's massive, and I don't really understand what's expected of us.
No.
But then we didn't know that for Swindon either, so we'll find out.
Yeah.
But it definitely doesn't seem geared up to, like you say, people in the south, people who are parents of young children that can't look after themselves.
Yeah.
Because 4 and 6, no matter what Greg from London Bridgebrook says, you can't leave them on their own.
Yeah.
That's not allowed.
Yeah.
You got to supervise children at that age all the time.
And I think we have heard from people that people displaying mocks at shows tend to be white men, and either because they're not white or because they're not a man, they're anxious about showing.
Yeah.
And so I think something needs to be done to help the lugs fix that.
Yeah, because diversity is always a good thing.
Yes.
You get something new no matter what.
Yeah.
That's the point.
Yes.
Yes, sure, you can invite people in who aren't white men and still get the same stuff that a white man would have created, but you don't know until you get in there. And it's more interesting.
Yeah, but you can't expect the people who volunteer to run the lug to have the time or the skills in order to do that.
No, it's not their day job.
Yeah. I mean, I have no idea how you attract more non-white people to display.
I thought you could say, I have no idea how you attract more women. Like,
I know how to attract women. Don't worry about that.
Right.
Okay.
Sorry, what?
But yeah, no, I can see where these things are problems that women are more likely to face and how to do it. But when it comes to ethnicity, I don't know how lugs can improve on that. And so someone needs to help them, and that should be Lego.
Yeah. This thing, you got to start somewhere, because the more representation you have, the easier it is to then feel welcome.
Yes.
Kind of thing. But how do you get to that point? It's so hard.
Yeah.
But it's so important.
Yeah.
And it does seem like it's Lego's responsibility as a big corporate thing.
Yep.
They should have the expertise. They should care to do it.
They should. Okay.
That wasn't a moan at the Bricktastic people or our lug.
As I say, they are essentially volunteering to do this. They don't get paid for it. One of them gets sent a special Lego set each year. That is it.
It sounds like the amount of work they have to do to they earn that.
Yes.
I'm going to keep going to these things and trying to maybe explain these hardships and the stress of some of these decisions, so that they can take those on board.
Yeah.
Like, that we can help in that regard. Like, making this podcast can be helpful. But
I don't like the idea that our podcast can be in any way helpful. That's not what it's for. It's not to help people.
Look, our podcast is essentially because we like to chat about Lego.
Yeah.
But also, I like it when we help people.
If people start expecting it to be helpful or useful or even correct.
My favourite videos that I make are the ones where I show the mess behind the scenes and people go, that makes me feel so much better. That really helped me out. Or, that seems like a really good way of storing your parts. Thank you. Like, those are my favourite videos. Okay. They are helpful.
Okay.
So, I want to be helpful, even if you don't.
Okay. Well, I think that's enough from us. So, if you have any comments, put them down below. What could lugs do? What should Lego be doing to help LUGs? All these kind of fun topics. Just write your thoughts. Carrie will read them.
You'll read them.
I might.
You always read them.
Yeah. I don't get notifications, so it's harder for me to know when people are commenting.
Okay.
But I do try to check every so often.
Yeah.
And of course, you can listen to us on various different streaming services. They're fun.
And find old episodes.
Of course, you can find the old episodes. They're all on YouTube. They're listed somewhere in the description.
Or the show notes.
I don't know what show notes are. You keep saying
It's a
show
podcast
notes.
thing. Show notes.
Show notes.
Yeah.
Okay. They'll be in the show notes.
You don't listen to enough podcasts. This
That's
is the only
true.
podcast you ever listen to.
I don't listen to any podcasts. Because I watch this one on YouTube and I watch Callie Bricklick on YouTube, but I don't listen to
You just don't
them
understand podcasts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not my thing.
Shh. You have a podcast. Stop saying that.
And we will be back for another exciting episode next week.
Yes, we will.
Bye.
Bye.